Yep. You are live. That was Brent Musburger's famous line back when he worked for CBS Sports.
You are live.
You are looking live from Kansas City, Missouri.
Hilarious. You tweeted it out. Yep. We're live discussing the fall of Notre Dame football.
Wow. Wow. Like they fired their wide receiver coach today.
No, really?
Mm-hmm.
It looks to me like the SEC's head coaching search is kind of very mediocre.
I mean, I like Mike. Mike Elko's a good coach.
Is he? I was like, I thought Texas A&M was gonna make a big move, but I guess since they, really can't. I don't know if they can. They probably got enough money too. But
look, anybody who can take Duke to 9 wins, and to be honest, Duke would have won more games
if Leonard hadn't got hurt.
If he hadn't gotten hurt.
Mm-hmm.
I heard against Notre Dame.
Mm-hmm.
So I mean, what? Let me see. They ended up 7-5. They would have beat. I mean, they took Carolina to overtime. I think they would have beat Florida State, to be honest, if Riley Leonard hadn't gotten hurt.
Yeah,
they were in the lead in the fourth quarter in that game, I believe. So yeah, so I mean,
let's go.
All right. Good morning, good afternoon, good evening. No matter where you may find yourself as you listen to this, and welcome to the podcast that also is not responsible for leaking audio to Verb. We didn't do it. We didn't do it either. So it's a black and white thing with A1 and A Ward. On one half of the dynamic duo, I'm A1. You can follow the show by going to the podcast app of your choice, searching for It's a Black and White Thing or Brains and Bars. Rate, subscribe, comment, follow the show there. You can also follow us on YouTube by searching Brains and Bars. Social media at Brains and Bars on Facebook, Twitter, and Instagram. And as always, I got my homie A Ward in the building. What's good, man?
We are in the building. It is Billy Hoyle, aka whatever you want to call me. But no, it's been good. It's been a good week. It's my birthday week, I guess. Kind of. Nah, since my birthday's on Saturday, I guess my next week will be my whole birthday week. But
I mean, you can use your privilege. Use your privilege. It's your birthday week. It can be your birthday week all week if you want to.
All right. Cool,
this week and next week. That's how some people go whole birthday month. I know one of our friends does that. When it's their time, it's the month. It's my time of the month.
Yeah. Yo, it's my 38 special. This is the 38 special. So
hey JC, ain't it funny how 38 can make a regular guy feel special inside?
Yeah. No, but yeah, doing good, man. Doing good. Watching some basketball. ACC, SEC Challenge, NBA in-season tournament last night is tonight. So yeah, it's a good day.
You know what? Let's start there because we're not going to be able to get into a lot of NBA. The in-season tournament. What are your thoughts on in-season tournament? Excuse me.
It's provided a little bit more of an excitement for me. Watching some of the games. I mean, the NBA schedule with 82 games back to backs. Probably 3-4 games a week for every team. A lot of things can kind of get lost. A lot of matchups that are actually marquee matchups can kind of get lost until you get to the playoffs and you realize these teams kind of been going at it all year, And I think that Golden State and Sacramento is a true testament to that. So tonight, Golden State and Sacramento, is a game that I'm like, okay, this is kind of like a playoff type game tonight, Like I want to tune in and watch this, And so I do like it in that aspect. The courts are weird. I'm not gonna lie. One day I like them, the next day I hate them. But I don't know. It's been kind of fun to watch, and I've looked forward to like Tuesdays and Fridays. In my head, I'm like, oh, it's Tuesday, oh, it's Friday. It's in-season tournament. Like, let's check it out. It is still very confusing, and I don't know how I feel about the whole aggregate, score being the tiebreaker and all that good stuff. Like, there's a game that comes on tonight where somebody has to win, and if they win by more than 23 or something, I'm like, oh, that's kind of interesting. So maybe I'll be interested to see how they play tonight and see if they're like chucking up threes at the end of the fourth quarter, like, going crazy to try to like blow the team out. Like, what if there's like 15 seconds to go in the game, and they're just like dunking, calling timeouts, like fouling to try to win by 26. Like, what can literally happen, right?
That can. And I want to say Devin Booker hit a shot at the end of their last game. It might have been their final game of the in-season tournament, where he hit it, and like that shot that is like a banked in 3-pointer. And that shot is what allowed them to have the point differential that'll be good enough so that they'll advance to the second round. So I like all of that. Like, it's no more, okay, it's 3 minutes left, we got to pull our guys.
Yeah.
It's like, no, you got to keep trying to play to score to get this point differential. Because, I mean, obviously you get a nice little NBA cup.
Yeah.
But you also get $500,000 per player.
That's nice. And then for some players, that's a good chunk of money.
That's a good chunk of money, especially if you 12th man on the roster.
Yeah.
Right? So I mean, as far as the courts go, I think the courts are cool. I like the courts. I think the courts are there purely from a marketing standpoint. I think that is to appeal to, one, younger viewers, and two, to those who play like 2K, right? Those who are playing in the my player on the courts. I don't play 2K, so I'm not gonna get the vernacular right. But like for those who play 2K, the my player, they're playing online with their friends. They're playing online in leagues that they create themselves to play in, and so they're having these customizable courts and customizable setups. I think that is strictly a marketing move for that type of audience to try to draw them in. So I can appreciate that. I like it. And some of those jerseys that I hated on, I'm like, once I saw them live, I was like, okay, I'm not a jersey wearer these days, but
I'm looking at the standings, and there's a lot of teams I think we expected to do a little bit better than where they ended up. And so obviously Lakers and the Pacers are already 4-0. I think they've already clinched, their divisions. Milwaukee's going to win tonight. Jimmy Butler's not playing, and I think they're already up big. So like they're going to clinch that at 4-0.
Okay.
But like the Clippers and the Mavericks are at the bottom of this Group B. Oklahoma City Thunder, which SGA's been going crazy all year, is at the bottom of Group C with San Antonio.
With the 27-point differential, too. Like, that's crazy to me. So, basically, their one win, I think it must have been against San Antonio. They smacked them.
Yeah.
But then I know they had that tight game against Golden State. They lost. I don't know if they lost to Sacramento in the other one. I think it was. Actually, I'm looking at it here. Yeah, so they lost to Golden State. They lost to Sacramento. They smacked San Antonio. And they are not going to.
So, how this works is A, B, and C groups, right? The leader goes on. So there's six, there's 3 on each side. So that's 6 teams. And then there's one more team, or how many?
Hold on. Let me go to the frequently asked questions.
So I didn't know if only 8 teams went to the next level. So then there would be like one wild card from each conference, is what I gather. So there's going to be a lot of 3-1 teams.
So 8 teams advance to the second and final stage.
Yeah.
So you're going to have this. So from each conference, right? You have the 3 group winners, and then the 2 best records or
not
point.
2 best, 1, right? Because 3 group winners, and then 1 on each side. Yeah, 2 total.
Yeah.
So it wouldn't be two.
Right. Not from each conference. So 1 from each conference, right? Yeah.
And so whoever has the best record that didn't win their group and the highest score differential.
Yep.
Yeah, interesting. Yeah,
so now I need to go. So now I need to go back and see. So I mean, Denver not making it, I thought was very surprising.
Yep.
Let me see. So you got Pelicans. Wow, the Rockets have a chance. So you're gonna have Pelicans. Who they got? They got to play. Oh, they're done. So they played all their games. There's only Rockets play Dallas tonight. And that's it. That's the only game in Group A from the West. Group B, I'm sorry. So this is going to be interesting. So you have the Rockets have a chance to make it. The Timberwolves have a chance to be that wild card team. Actually, you know what? No,
Golden State. Golden State could.
I don't know. Their point differential, they're only a +5. So they're going to have to.
It says they're +1.7.
Are you looking at betting odds?
No, I'm looking at ESPN, like the ESPN standings. Like if you go to the ESPN app and then you go to in-game standings,
Mm-hmm.
and then you just scroll over, it tells you differential.
Right.
So yeah, I don't know. But yeah, we'll see. I guess and I think that's kind of a frustrating point to it. Is just like we're not able to watch it with complete clarity. There's a lot of games going on tonight, so you're kind of like, all right, it's kind of like a lottery type thing. Like everybody gets done playing, it's like, let's do the numbers. So maybe there's an advantage to Golden State and Sacramento because they're going to play the last game, the late game. You know what I mean?
Yeah. I mean, because you'll know exactly what you need to do if you're Golden State, like how much you need to win by.
Yep.
So yeah, we'll see. I'll be interested to see. Obviously, like you said, we know teams like the Lakers will be going on to the next round. The Bucks, I mean, they have their point differential, I think, is tied with the Pacers for the best point differential. So as long as they win, they should be in even at 3-1 because their point differential is going to be one of the best in the league. So as long as they win and maintain, even if they lose, if they just lose by a couple of points, they'll probably be moving on to the next round. So yeah, I think it's fun. I think they need to call it the NBA Cup and stop calling it in-season tournament because that just like that's not. There's
I
no
don't like that.
genius
It's
to
not.
that.
Yeah, it doesn't roll off the tongue easy either. So it's like,
yeah, it's called the NBA Cup. Just call it the NBA Cup. They marketed this or they branded this kind of off of European soccer, which they have various. You have Champions League, you have FA Cup, you have these different tournaments that you play during the season. And so don't call it in-season tournament, guys. Like we know it's an in-season tournament. That's why it's called NBA Cup, right? Like just so yeah. But yeah, y'all let us know what y'all think, man. I like it. I think it gives the season a little bit more intrigue. It makes it more interesting. To me, you given the regular season a little bit of a oomph, and it's allowed a team like the Indiana Pacers. If you got League Pass, the Indiana Pacers are must watch TV.
Yeah, 140, 150 points, like
defense optional. Defense optional. They basically said, look, can you outscore us?
Yeah.
Because if you can't, it's gonna be a long night for you. But if you can, we about to have some fun. And so all the games, Tyrese Halliburton, I mean, he's kind of is he the current like leader in terms of best point? Well, I guess Luka. I can't forget about Luka, so please forgive me. But I mean, in terms of playing the position from him. In today's standards of being both an assist man and a scorer, I don't think there's a better guard in the league right now than Tyrese Halliburton.
That's interesting. Okay.
I mean, again,
because you said assist and scorer, I think Luka's a better assist and scorer than Halliburton.
Man, I think Tyrese Halliburton went 2 games. We had something like 25
assists and no turnovers.
And no turn. Yeah. I mean, and have the ball, I don't think his usage rate is as high as Luka's because Luka dominates the ball, but still to be a lead guard, to have the scoring responsibility that he does, and still to be able to set up your teammates and not turn the ball over at that rate, man, I don't know.
Yep.
So yeah, I think if it's not Luka, it's him. I just put it to you like that. Dang, this is where you got to like do your research before the show because now I'm like looking this up on the run, on the fly. Let's see, Luka's at 34% usage rate, and I do not see. I'm gonna have to do a search. Halliburton, wow, he really doesn't handle the ball as much as I thought he does because I don't think he's in the top 50 for usage rate right now. Wow. So that's interesting. Anyway, so I'll figure that out later and come back and we'll look into it. But yeah, let us know what y'all think about this in-season tournament. I think it's going to be really fun, especially once we get to the knockout stages, single elimination. I don't know if they play those all in Vegas or not, but I think it's going to be fun to watch.
Yeah.
All right, so let's get into it, man. Let's move on to college football because as we were getting ready to start the show, everybody gather your kids, gather the family members around. New college football playoff rankings just dropped, everybody. Hot off the press. Hot off the press about 20 minutes ago that these new rankings dropped. And they are as follows. See, I had them pulled up and then I got rid of them. And I don't know where they are. Here they are. Georgia is still number 1. Michigan moved up 1 spot. The next 3 teams moved up 1 spot. So Michigan, Washington State, Florida State all moved up 1 spot, 2 through 4. And to me, this is where it gets interesting.
Mm-hmm.
Oregon at 5,
Mm-hmm.
Ohio State at 6.
Wah, wah, wah.
Well, and then Texas and Bama at 7 and 8. And so I had a whole like scenario mapped out of, okay, what happens if this, what happens if that? I thought that if Bama would beat Georgia, that for sure they're going to make it to the top 4. With them being at 8, can you see them jumping at least 4 spots to get to 4?
They're not going to jump. They're not going to allow them to jump Texas if Texas wins. And who's Texas got? Oklahoma State?
Oklahoma State.
So if Texas wins and Alabama wins, they're not going. I mean, they're just not going to do it. I mean, they haven't done it all year. You know what I mean? Like, I mean, it's been like this for like the last 6 weeks. So I don't know why all of a sudden, you know, I mean, I guess you're beating Georgia, but I just don't think they're going to allow Bama to jump Texas, considering Texas beat Bama at Bama. Like, it's tough, man. There's always going to be outrage. There's so many scenarios right here where Oregon beats a Washington, and then Bama beats a Georgia. Then you got Florida State sitting here. This is Chris Winkie can't play in the national title game all over again. You know, they come in, Marcus Outson comes in and is trying to throw passes to Peter Warrick, and Tennessee wins the national championship. But it's like you got a situation with Florida State where you're like, yo, you don't want to penalize the team, but Florida State without Jordan Travis is not one of the top 4 teams in the nation.
So I think the problem but you're not going to allow a 13-0 Power 5 conference champion to not be in.
Right. And so basically what needs to happen is Georgia, Michigan, and Florida State, you know, all win their conference championship. And I think Oregon's going to beat Washington, and it's just going to be Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, Florida State, you know. But the chaos could ensue. Like if Bama beats Georgia, you're going to have a list of 1-loss teams, and they're all going to be able to say, well, Bama, you know, has wins over the number 5 Georgia, number 9 Missouri, or no, I didn't beat Missouri.
Number 1 Georgia,
number 11 Ole Miss, number 13 LSU, number 21 Tennessee, and 1 loss. You know what I mean? And then you're going to look at Texas, and Texas has got literally Alabama and K-State, and K-State's 25th, you know? Like, and so then I heard earlier Kirk Herbstreit talking about Texas and Oregon, common opponent. Texas beat Texas Tech by 50. Oregon beat them by 1 possession on, you know, like
38-30.
They're both 1-loss teams, you know. So you're going to have a bunch of if for some reason Bama upsets Georgia, you're going to have a bunch of these 1-loss teams where, in my mind, even if Georgia loses to Bama, they're probably one of the top 4 teams.
Yeah. Yeah.
You know, I mean, they got a 20-point difference, like they're beating teams by 20 points a game, like for the whole season, you know? And like they're thumping teams like badly. And so, you know, it's just it's a tough situation. And one thing I think that we know that is constant and is going to happen is that Michigan is going to throttle Iowa. And they're going to be good. Michigan's going to be good. I can see Louisville pulling the upset on Florida State.
I mean, 9-2, right? I mean, now their 1 loss is indefensible. I kind of see why it happened though. They were juiced up. They beat Notre Dame when Notre Dame, I think, might have still been a top 10 team. And then they laid an absolute egg against Pittsburgh at Pittsburgh. But it's still a 10-2 season.
Louisville just lost to Kentucky too.
Yeah, but I mean, that's a rivalry game. So, I mean, look, Bama was a freaking miracle play, 4th and 31 from losing to their hated rival, who was a 6-win team.
You know, I thought it was wild watching the Eagles when they threw that touchdown. What was it? It was third and 20 something.
To Zacchaeus.
Yeah, and you see the Alabama quarterback sitting back there with time, rolls out a little bit to his left, finds a receiver in the back corner of the end zone. I was like, man, I'd like to put this Auburn-Alabama touchdown pass beside an Alabama. Like, it was kind of the same type of situation. But Yeah, and we're talking about an Auburn team that lost in New Mexico State the week before.
And that's what I'm saying. Like, so
Yeah.
I can forgive Louisville for laying that egg, because it happens. It happens. But I mean,
can we just tell Kirby Smart to just shut up? I just don't like Kirby Smart.
What with him talking about don't give me the speech about don't talk about them barely beating Auburn. Like, I know I played in that. I've been in that game.
Did you hear him say, no offense to Tim Tebow, but that Milroe is a more of a bigger physical Lamar Jackson? They were talking about like running style. He's like, nah, he's like, my kids play Madden. They always pick the Ravens because Lamar Jackson's hard to tackle. He's like, I wouldn't compare him to Tim Tebow. He's more of a more physical and bigger Lamar Jackson. I'm like, yo, first off, Milroe's not that good.
Well, hold on, wait. As a runner, I don't think he means as a passer.
I know he's saying everything he needs to say to get his team. Come on, man.
I agree with that. I mean, like, he's in between. He's like, from a running quarterback prototype, if you have on one end of the spectrum Lamar Jackson and the other end Cam Newton, in the middle is Jalen Milroe, right? Not as big as Cam, not as small as Lamar, but he's in the middle. So I can rock with that. I think that's a good comparison.
I feel like if he was talking about Daniels from LSU, I'm okay with him comparing, some of these guys. But like, he could have just been like, he's a little bit stronger Tyrod Taylor. Like, I would have been okay with him saying something like that.
I'm gonna tell you, speaking of Jaden Daniels, if he doesn't win the Heisman Trophy, no offense to Bo Nix, no offense to Michael Penix Jr. They've had phenomenal seasons. They've been great. But Jaden Daniels, to me, has been unbelievable. I forget the stat. I know they're talked about, like, he has like 60 to 20-yard plus runs or something this year, and like the next closest person had like 20. And it's just like his season has been amazing. And to me, I feel like at certain times the Heisman voters get away from awarding the most outstanding player for the year, and they award it to the most outstanding player on the team with the fewest losses.
Yeah. Well, that's the same thing with the NFL MVP too. Sometimes
don't get me.
Is this the first year, or maybe am I late to this? Is this the first year where they're allowing conference championship play to affect the voting? Didn't they normally vote always before the championship games?
I thought so. Yeah, I thought that was voted prior to.
About, the leader for the Heisman, and I'm like, yo, this weekend is the games. Like, I thought they usually had all of the votes and everything submitted, and like anything that happened in conference championship play did not count. Which it used to be like, dang, that kind of sucks. But maybe, because I think that Bo Nix is the favorite right now. He's at a -165, and then Jaden Daniels is plus 200. Is it Jaden or Jalen?
Jaden.
Yeah. But yeah, I mean, to play at LSU, to be in the SEC, to have they have 2 losses, or they have 3?
Three.
Yeah, and to put up 50 touchdowns and to break the records that he's broken with his legs and everything, it's wild to be considered the runner-up to Bo Nix. But that offense in Oregon has been kind of insane.
So I want to come back to the CFP playoff real quick. What do you do with Washington? So let's just say Bama wins, Texas loses, Florida State loses. What do you do with Washington?
Bama wins.
Bama wins.
Texas loses.
Texas loses. Florida State loses. Oregon beats Washington, who Washington beat them in the regular season. Do you put Washington at 4? Do you elevate Ohio State?
Well, so what's probably going to happen is you're not putting Washington over Georgia at all.
No. Georgia's probably going to, if they lose,
So you're saying Bama wins, right? So Michigan's going to go to number 1.
Michigan's going to go to number 1. I think Georgia's going to fall at least to 2 or 3. No, I don't think they're dropping to 4, because I think the committee wants a potential Bama, Oregon, Michigan and Georgia title game. So I think at worst they drop to 3.
Okay.
Florida State's eliminated. So Florida State's eliminated. Texas is eliminated. Oregon is automatic qualifier because they win their conference.
So then you're going to have to pick between Bama and Washington.
I think you got to go. I think you got to go Washington. One loss. Washington State wasn't ranked, but Oregon was ranked. Oregon State was ranked. I think when they beat US, I don't think USC might have been that might have been their last top 25 game when they lost to Washington. I had to go back and look that up. Let me see. Let me look at the schedule real quick. I just don't know how you could take a team that was undefeated. So they have wins over number 21 Oregon State. They have a win over Oregon, who was 5th in the country. They have a win over number 14 Arizona. How about it? And that's it. USC was not ranked at the time they played. So, I mean, to me, one loss, Washington should get in over 2-loss Bama.
All right. So what about all 4 of these teams? We know if Florida State loses, they're out.
They're out. Absolutely. If
Michigan loses to Iowa, are they out?
No, because they're undefeated. They're undefeated, and they're going to have at least top 25 wins, which is Penn State, who was top 10 at the time, and Ohio State, who was number 2.
So you think it's possible that if Georgia lost, Michigan lost, and Washington lost, that all 3 of those teams could stay in, and Oregon would just join them?
Yes. I don't think Bama's resume is not crazy enough to me.
Bama?
Yeah, it's not crazy. Like they're going to have. I mean, granted, the Georgia win is going to be a pretty big one. So I can't.
They got 3 top 20. They got 3 top 20 wins. Ole Miss, LSU, Tennessee.
What was Tennessee ranked? So they don't have them ranked right now on this thing that I'm watching. So what was Tennessee ranked when they played them?
When they played them, it was even more. We were like,
because that's what they take into account, right? Is what you were ranked when you play them. Yes.
Yeah, that's what matters. 11th or 15th. Let me see.
Man, I just don't know how you push Alabama from 8 to 4 and yet remove Washington, who's undefeated, has 3 top 25 wins and a win, and they would have split the season series against the team that they beat the first time around. So I don't know.
They lost Texas, then they beat Ole Miss, number 15, then they beat number 17 Tennessee, then they beat number 14 LSU, and now they play UGA, number 1. So they'll have 4 wins against the top 20. So
I don't know, man. Like this is going to be, if chaos ensues, because we almost got chaos last week. We were really close to getting chaos last week. If chaos happens this weekend, it is going to be, you're probably going to need at least a couple of nights of debating to figure out who, and granted, they don't have a couple of nights.
Michigan's only played 2 ranked teams. Alabama will have played 5. Or did play. Yeah. This being their 6th.
I just can't see you dropping Michigan out. I can't if
2 1-loss teams, one of them has played 5.
But Michigan only has 1 loss.
Was a formidable top 4 possible selection in the Big 12 champion Texas. And the one team Michigan lost to can't score more than 13 points in a game.
I hear what you're saying. I just don't think you have. Let me see. Let me see if I have this thing pulled up still. Iowa are they 12th in the rankings? Let me see.
16th.
God, dog, they don't like them at all.
What? Say they can't score 16 points. They should not be. They shouldn't be.
Golly, I didn't realize it was that. Dang, they not.
It doesn't matter though, because the line is 23, which is wild for a conference championship,
a title game. I mean, listen.
The other line that's wild is Oregon minus 9.5 over Washington. After Washington already beat them this year, 9.5.
Really? That game was
Disrespectful.
Yeah, I mean, listen, if I was a betting man, I definitely would be heading over to DraftKings to lay some money on Washington +9. Because unless you're telling me Michael Penix Jr. is not playing, I'm not sure why they're +9.
Wow.
I get it. Oregon was the better team that day. But I mean, they lost.
Who knows, man? I do believe that Michigan's going to win handily. I do believe that Oregon's going to beat Washington. Unfortunately, I would love to see Louisville upset Florida State because I just don't want to see Florida State in the top 4. But I understand why, if they finish defeated, that it's necessary for them to be there. Even though, let's see, Florida State played one ranked team the whole year.
Yeah.
Duke. And now they're playing their second ranked team in Louisville.
I mean, that's kind of crazy.
Oh, I lied. My bad. They beat LSU. That's a huge win, actually. First game of the year.
First game of this, yeah. Florida State is only favored by 2.5.
Yeah. Yep.
Wow.
Let's see. Let the games begin. Let's see. We got Friday night's Pac-12 championship, I believe.
Yep.
And then everything else is on Saturday. Yep. Everything else on Saturday.
Man.
What about Liberty? What are we doing with undefeated Liberty at 24? They play in the Conference USA Championship Friday.
I think would they be the highest group of 5 ranked teams? I think so. You get it. They get a New Year's Six bowl. Mm-hmm. Yeah. So I mean, there you go. So there you go, Liberty. You're not playing for the championship, but you get a New Year's Six game. So there you go. Thanks for coming. We appreciate you. Man, this is going to be interesting. I can't wait to see how it all plays out. Y'all let us know who y'all think. Who is going to be the final top 4? I am going to say Georgia beats Bama. Michigan obviously beats Iowa. I'm going to say Oregon beats Washington.
It's going to be chaos. They're going to slide Texas in there at 4. I promise you. Texas is going to beat Oklahoma State, and Florida State's going to lose to Louisville, and Texas will jump Ohio State and be there at 4.
Oregon, oh, dang, they already. I don't know if you can put Texas over Washington. I think Washington has a better resume. They're going to have the Bama, especially Bama loses, right? I mean, Texas has the Bama win, but they lost to Oklahoma. They lost to K. Were they the ones that lost to KU?
Who lost to KU?
No, Texas only has 1 loss. They only lost to Oklahoma. My bad.
Yeah.
Somebody lost to KU. I think it was Oklahoma who lost to KU.
I just think the teams that are playing this weekend have the biggest advantage, right? Ohio State, I don't see them making it into the picture unless something ridiculous happens, right? And then you got the teams that are playing this weekend that have an advantage. So I think Texas has an advantage. Obviously, if Washington wins, they're in. But if one of those teams slips up, one of those top 4 teams right now slips up, the 2 teams that are able to take advantage of it to me are Oregon if they beat Washington, and Texas if they win the Big 12 championship.
I ain't gonna hold you. I think if Washington loses, I'm going to say the top 4 is Georgia, Michigan, Oregon, Washington. I just think it's going to be really hard to keep that Washington team out. I think their resume is just as good, if not better than Texas's. I understand that Texas would have won the Big 12. But yeah, I think they're a better team. I think their resume is better. So we'll see.
That's crazy.
We'll see. All right, man. Let's see what else. We got anything else in the world of college football? Nope, we talked about. Let me get my bars off on this. So this is the final season of the Pac-12. Although I do have the Pac-12, you did rise on my Kofi list a little bit just because y'all put the Notre Dame game on the Pac-12 channel. I had to sign up for Fubo just to watch the game. Fubo then, in the smallest of fine print, when you go to cancel your free subscription, they have all these big manage your subscription here, manage the tiers. And at the very small print, the very bottom, it goes cancel subscription. So I had to look. I mean, I had to Google how to find the cancel the subscription. I tweeted Fubo and was like, yo, y'all really going to make me call the 1-800 number just to get out of this deal? I went back, looked again, and saw the fine print and went, oh, my bad. Never mind. But they're. I mean, granted, Washington State and Oregon State, they will be the Pac-12 next year. They won a court case where they get to keep all the money. So they got the house, the kids, the dog, and the rest of the schools are going to have to start over again, and rebuild their life. But that's preliminary. That's going to probably go to like the state court in Washington before it's finally settled. But this makes me sad to see that the college football season, to me, it's not going to be the same. No. Next year's a 12-team playoff. To me, the 12-team playoff diminishes the regular season. It doesn't make every game as important, right? 2 losses, 1 loss, depending on who you lose to, you can probably still win your conference and still get in. 2 losses, you're probably still looking at a New Year's Six bowl, depending on who you are. 3 losses, you're done. Now you can lose 2 games, maybe 3. Let me go and look at these rankings here.
And LSU right now could possibly jump in that top 12 with 3 losses.
I mean, they can't, right? So I'm looking at it now. There's 2. They're the first 3-loss team, right? They're ranked 13th, so they would miss out because nobody else is going to move. There's no more games to be played.
But if a Texas was to lose,
they're not dropping. They wouldn't drop out of the top 12.
You don't think so?
I don't think so. They would probably drop to 12. I would think. Ooh, I don't know.
Yeah, so it's an interesting.
Yeah. It's an interesting thing. But I guess my thing is, right, like the Michigan and Ohio State, the last 3 years have had huge stakes tied to them. College football playoff implications. Next year, if number 2 Michigan plays number 5 Ohio State, I mean, okay, they're playing for the Big Ten regular season title, right, and home they get a bye. Okay, that's cool, but it's not the same as the winner goes on to play for the national championship potentially, and the other one gets left out in the cold. And they go to a great bowl game, but it's not, the stakes are just not the same. And we're inching closer to professional college football, which it really is already.
With
but
we're in everything.
Yeah, but I mean we're getting closer to that, and like I said last week, college football is my favorite sport to watch, in part because of the tradition, the rivalries. We're losing a lot of those matchups. Shout out to Washington. I think it's Washington and Washington State who signed up to play each other for the next 5 years. But like, we're losing Oregon State. We're going to lose Oklahoma State. We've already lost KU, Mizzou. Like, we're losing all of these matchups that were played for hundreds of years before winning and money destroyed it all. Because your season, as being a Notre Dame fan, right, with their 3rd loss, well, the season has no meaning anymore. And I'm like, that's not, like, the season still has meaning. Like, you still have a chance to get better and progress as players. That's part of the reason I like to watch the sport, because you get to see these young men start and mold themselves into better players as the year goes on. Look at Bama. Bama's offense was atrocious the first 3-4 games of the year. They tried everything they could to get rid of Jalen Milroe. Ty Simpson, come on up. Tyler Buckner, come on down. And it didn't work. They went back to Jalen. They stuck with it. And then you got Jalen after the game screaming, "Give me my Heisman Trophy." And I'm like, okay, well, okay. Pump the brakes, my young man. Great. You overcame some things. You had a really good season. You won a huge game. But I'm not trying to hear, "Give me my Heisman Trophy." Maybe next year. This is a great start to your campaign, sir.
Yeah.
For 2024. But yeah, man, you get to see these kids grow, and you get to see them mature and play better and be better. And we're losing that. We're going to lose some of that.
Let me ask you this. Do you think that this, however, will help out the hot seat for coaches in regards to, a 3-loss season? Like you're still playing throughout the year. You're like, yo, we only got 1 loss. We only got 2 losses, whatever. We have something that we can, like, okay, they were almost in the top 12. Let's give them another year. Whereas some years it's like you finish 15, 20 or whatever. It's like, now we have expectations here. Like it provides like the 10 more teams to have like a little bit of a, man, we were almost there.
I think it makes teams less patient, because now that you have 12 teams if you're consistently 13 through 15, you're getting fired. Like Jimbo Fisher was 45 and 25.
Yeah.
And he got fired. Kevin Sumlin, his predecessor, was 51 and 26. He got fired. I mean, they're people, Ryan Day's 60 and 7 or something like that the last 5 years or something crazy like that. It might not be 7 wins. It might be like 60 and like 4.
He's 1 and 3.
And it's like, thank you.
He's 1 and 3, and they want him out of here.
And so that's what I'm saying. Like at Notre Dame, like people are crying about. Look, I get it. They had a playoff caliber defense. If the offense could have figured it out in all the big games they had, they would be in the college football playoff because their defense is that good. And Marcus Freeman is his second year. He's had to rebuild a wide receiver room, try to find better quarterback play, rebuild the defense, all this other stuff that's going around into this. And people are mad that he won 9 games. Like it's so I think a 12-team playoff makes people less patient because winning is the only thing. It is not the result is the only thing people care about. They don't care about the process.
Yeah.
And so, I mean, absolutely, Zach, the alumni play a huge part in why coaches are let go. Absolutely. The alumni play. I mean, again, I love college football, but the fans are by far the worst. They're the most entitled. Listen, Dabo in that rant, he was right. Like, I mean, you guys are spoiled. You're entitled. He's like, before I got here, y'all didn't have this. He said, I built this brick by brick. You know what I'm saying? And like Texas, like, so to talk about Texas A&M, last 25 years, 1 10-win season. In the last, that's the Manziel season. His Heisman season, 1 10-win season. You got to realize who you are in the hierarchy of college football. Everybody's not going to be Bama. Everybody's not going to be Ohio State, Florida. Okay.
I'm part of the problem.
Everybody's not going to be top tier. And if you're A&M, I get it. You got money to blow. You got money to spend. You just paid Jimbo Fisher $75 million to go away. $75 million. So I get it. You got money to spend. But just because you spend all that money don't mean you're going to make it to the upper echelon. Sometimes you're just an 8-win school, and you got to be okay with that. And so I don't know, man. I don't think it's going to be anything is going to change in that regard.
I'll say this much as we get over to the NFL or whatever, but I've never been a Pac-12 fan ever. I've never been a Big Ten fan or a Pac-12 fan. I've always Big 12, whatever, ACC, whatever. I've always kind of been anti Big Ten and Pac-12. This year made me sad to see the Pac-12 go. I like what they had this year. I enjoyed watching their teams play. Dion in Colorado, just Washington, Oregon, even Oregon State and Arizona. I watched the games, and I'm like, man, even USC. I mean, USC didn't have a great year. They got Caleb Williams, whatever, but it was exciting and entertaining football to watch. And I'm like, this would be your last year, to where I finally come around and be like, you know what? Now the Big Ten, they can still blow that thing up. I don't give a damn about none of that. So, but the Pac-12, I'm sad to see it go. So I will pour out a little bit of Dr. Pepper for the Pac-12, and we'll keep it moving.
To quote Michael Irvin, we're losing recipes. We are losing recipes. If you don't know that rant, just go look up Michael Irvin. We're losing recipes. It's one of the great rants of all time. But yeah, like the Pac-12, this is the year. Like we needed, like where was Jeff Bezos at? Where's Steve Jobs? I'm sorry, rest in peace, Steve Jobs. Where's Bill Gates? Like, please step in. So I actually tweeted that. I'm like, hey guys, would you mind doing me a solid? Yeah. You have billions. Give them $60 million a year to keep the conference intact so they could play. As we close the door on college football, I told y'all about Deion. I told y'all that Deion was going to have to recruit, and that transfer portal thing was not going to work out. I've just read an article today. Deion's class is like in the 60s, and he just lost his 4-star QB recruit from last year, 3-star QB recruit this class, another recruit in the class of 25. He's
not going to be there long if he don't bring in the classes.
Listen, he's not going to be there long if he does not get the kids there. The transfer portal is there to cover up the wounds. It's not there to do cosmetic surgery. So that's all I say about that. Good luck to him. I do wish him well, but he better get on that recruiting trail. You can't wait to the last minute and try to snatch up a couple of 5-stars. I think that's going to be enough to get the job done. All right, man, let's jump into the NFL. I'm going to start with Monday night's game because this is your guy. You went and bought the jersey. The Pastronaut.
I had that jersey last year, bro. I knew. Yes.
The Pastronaut failure to launch. It was a rough go for him last night against the Chicago Bears. 4 turnovers. They were all interceptions, right? Listen, I don't watch bad football, so I'm not going to act like I watched the game. I caught the final couple of series. I like Josh Dobbs, and I tweeted this out, and I'm going to say it here publicly. I hope that Netflix, I know they have their quarterback series. I hope they made a in-season pivot to follow Josh Dobbs because his story this year has been really interesting. Getting traded, a couple of weeks before, was it the week before the season started, to Arizona. He documented, he's like, look, I'm leaving. Basically, I'm taking my draws. That's it. I'm taking draws, and the clothes on my back, and I'm going to a new city, and me and my agent have figured it out as we go. He gets traded again, right? Goes to Minnesota. Obviously, gets called into duty. You know the story about not knowing anybody's name. It's a fascinating story. And to me, Josh Dobbs should make, I think Chase Daniels signed like a 3-year, $30 million deal as a backup quarterback. I think he could probably command that in the open market next year to be somebody's backup quarterback because he is the prototypical, this is my backup QB theory. Josh Dobbs can win you 2-3 games if you need it. If your guy's hurt and he's going to be IR for 4 weeks, Josh Dobbs can go 2-2, maybe 3-1. He's not going to be a guy who can go a full season and carry your team to the playoffs and beyond. Great guy, smart guy, but that's his ceiling. And there's nothing wrong with that. So, your thoughts on your guy, man. I know, Vol for life and all that good stuff.
Yeah, no, I mean, I've known what Josh Dobbs was. But it's one of those situations where you hope that when he came to Minnesota that he's thrown into a situation where he can grow into having a good team around him and get better. You know what I mean? I mean, look at Bryce Young right now. He's 1-9 or 1-10. What is he? 1-10?
1-10.
Got you. When we're talking about actually playing NFL games, I understand Josh Dobbs has been in the league for 7 years. So he's been practicing. He's been in preseason games. He's been doing all this kind of stuff, whatever. He hasn't started any games until last year, I think, in the Titans.
The Titans, yep.
The lights haven't been on him any more than 8 total times. I think he played 6 or 7 games for the Cardinals. And then, and so as much as you're like, hey, he's a veteran, he's 7 years in or whatever, I still think that he's in that. I mean, he's on it. This is a month he's been with the team, The thing about Josh Dobbs, though, is like some of these turnovers are like stuff that like rookies. You can't have the mental, right? That's where I'm like, no, you're too smart for that. Take that sack. Like, what are we doing right here? You know what I mean? Like, and that's what it's tough, And 2 of the interceptions weren't his fault, but all interceptions are all quarterback's fault. We know that. We can't just flip back. Two of them hit receivers dead in the hands. And
then it's the receiver's fault. Then
yeah. He hit Jordan Addison perfect. Boom, right off his hands, interception. Then he throws another one to another guy. It was tight coverage, but it still hit him in the hands, tip ball, interception, or whatever. The other 2 though are I'm getting sacked. Let me just do that, and it's like, bro. Like,
the last one was egregious.
Yeah, you've been around too long for that. Like, what are we doing? And like, bro, you're playing against a team that can't move the damn ball. The other thing was like, we know wins and losses is everything. They're this much away from him being 3-1, and us still talking about the Pastronaut, even though he threw 4 interceptions or whatever. The fact they lost the game is a big deal, but the fact they lost the game also goes on Kevin O'Connell. Is that his name, Kevin?
Yep.
I mean, the guy's going for it on 4th and 10 at the 50-yard line when the other team can't even move the ball more than 30 yards every possession. It's like, bro, punt the ball, put them inside their own 5. Like, like they're not gonna. And it's a field goal game, so it was a wild game. But I'll say this: like, I'm with you on like the whole idea of him playing and starting the whole season. He's not there. He's not there to get you to the playoffs. You know what I mean? Do I think that he possesses the talent to get better? I don't think he is what he is right now. I don't think he's played enough to be able to say he is what he is. It's a wrap.
I think he is what he is.
Really?
I think he is. Like I said, I think.
So you think Bryce Young is what he is?
No, because he's a rookie, right? They're still
but I mean, he's still played more. He's played more games than Josh Dobbs.
He's a rookie, and I think Frank Reich, as a play caller, as a offensive designer, is like no. I've seen enough. Granted, I'm not breaking down no Panthers tape, none of that. But the people who get paid to do this for a living, I've seen enough clips of them on the internet going, "What is this scheme? Who is he supposed to throw the ball to?" You basically called, like, I don't know if you've seen that Mr. Coach 30, where he did the one on the.
I didn't watch it.
But like he does one on the Panthers, and like the owner David Tepper comes in and he looks at like they have like on this whiteboard like an offensive play call, and it's just 4 curls. But the funny part of that is like you've seen people go, he's got these receivers running 4 curls. And they're all covered. What is Bryce supposed to do at this point? Like they'll freeze the shot at the top of his drop. They've all curled back, and they're all here's the receiver, here's the defender, and he's like, where's he supposed to throw the ball? So
I think that in Josh Dobbs' case is like I don't think he's being used to his strengths right now. You know what I mean? Like there was not one called quarterback run the whole game for Josh Dobbs. Not one.
So more read option.
He's not getting out of the pocket. You know what I mean? He's standing in the pocket, and he's one of those guys that, man, some of these quarterbacks, I'm like, run. But they want to be known as like the guy that can just stand in there and sling that hoe. No, go. You know what I mean? Like that's what your feet are for, you know? And so like he's doing a lot of stuff that is standing in the pocket, taking hits, throwing the ball and crossing routes and different things like that. And it's like, no, man, get this guy out into some space, like run some, but I think that's going to come with some more, you got the bye week. I really wish Justin Jefferson would have been back this week. I really don't. I know he's like, I'm not playing until I'm healthy. But when I was going into the Broncos game, now the Broncos are obviously a little bit better than what I thought they were. I know you like they're fool's gold or whatever, but I do think that they're playing better than what I thought. Going into Broncos, Bears, and then they got the Raiders after this bye week. Like I was like, yo, Dobbs got 2 wins, and he's got the Broncos, the Bears, and the Raiders. Like bro, like Minnesota should be 9-4, instead of whatever they are net, And so I do think if Justin Jefferson gets out there and suits up, like it provides just a much better. I mean, Addison, he's not the number 1 yet,
Right. So. Yeah. We'll see. I know Kevin O'Connell said he's going to be evaluating everything during the bye, so you might get Jaron Hall back as a starter. I would stick with Dobbs for one more game. I think you got to see how he does once he has Justin Jefferson, who they have activated. They activated him today off of IR, so he will be back after the bye. If he can't get a connection, granted, still, right, it's not like he's been throwing to Jefferson all year long.
Yeah.
But if they can't get it going with Justin Jefferson in there, drawing additional coverage, obviously he likes TJ Hawkinson.
So first play of the game, he put that ball in the money on Jordan Addison. I don't know if you saw it. It was a 50-yard bomb. They went play action. And it was a good defense. It was a PBU or whatever. But if that's Justin Jefferson, I mean, they got first and goal from the 5, and it's let's make moves. But I'll tell you this much: if they go back to Hall, we didn't see much of him. We saw one drive or whatever. But I'll tell you this much: he's out because of a concussion. Max Crosby going to get that guy out with another concussion. I don't think you want to go to some. I don't know what Hall's like. I don't know if he's a scrambler or what.
He can use his legs.
With Max Crosby out there, you're going to need somebody because that man is going to put you right back in the tent.
Keep your head on the swivel, young man. That's all I got to say. Be aware where 98 is at all times.
All times.
So last thing I say about that game again, I think this was the game from a Bears perspective where they said, we're taking Caleb Williams with the number 1 overall pick.
Yeah.
I just don't think Justin Fields, I think they're going to move on. I think they're going to trade him. They'll get something back, maybe a 3rd round pick, maybe a 4th round pick. But I think this was the game where they went, yeah, we're done here. I just don't think it's going to work.
I seen that man get slammed on his head. One of his players had to get him up. Do you remember like earlier in the season when he was rattling and he was like walking back to the huddle and his
Chiefs
player
game.
like, nah, young man. Like, you know what I mean? Like that
Chiefs
same
game.
thing happened last night and like they didn't take him out or nothing. I said, oh, the Bears don't give a damn about this kid. Like when you look, he threw a pass like 2 plays later that was so off. And then they zoomed in on his helmet. I said, yo, he's not in there. He's somewhere else right now.
It's like that Snickers commercial. Who are you?
Yeah.
I'm Batman. Like my man is gone. Yeah, I saw some tweets about it. I didn't see the play, but I did see some tweets about it. Yeah. But yeah, I think this is the game where they decided, yeah, we're probably if they were leaning one way or the other, to me, this is the game that said, yeah, we're going Caleb Williams or Drake May. I could see Chicago being afraid of taking another improviser. Even though Caleb Williams is a better improviser than Justin Fields.
They can't do that, man. They can't.
I can see them. I can see them. Yeah. I can see them talking themselves out of it.
Mr. Trubisky didn't work for him, and he wasn't really an improviser.
Well, I mean, he was also from Carolina too, so there's also that. There's also that. So, but yeah. All right, man. So let's keep moving on. The Chiefs, is the offense fixed?
No, the offense is not fixed. But we are wearing championship gear today, where's that? All right, cool. So yeah, because we're back on the straight and narrow. No, the offense is not fixed. I mean, the offense got Rashee Rice more targets. The offense, was decent in the red zone. The offense got things going there for the last 3 quarters, second, third, and fourth. Well, actually, is it 14-0 at halftime?
It was 14-14 at halftime. Okay, they were down 14-0, and they scored on 2 straight drives to close the half.
Yeah. But no, it's still not fixed. But that was a step in the right direction, and I do think Rashee Rice needs to become a much bigger part of of the targets, getting in the ball. He had 2 drops yesterday too, but they kept going to him. You know what I mean? And I think that was key. And they did it against a pretty decent defense. I don't think it was, I think, under a lot of pressure, they got a pretty decent defense over there with the Raiders. Yeah. But it's still the Raiders, man. I fully expected the Chiefs to go in there and beat them by double digits.
I think, the offense is on its way to being fixed. I do think Rashee Rice needs to be a part. Like, if he's not getting 7 to 8 targets a game, someone needs to be held accountable.
I didn't think I'd ever say this, but I'm liking how they're using Clyde Edwards-Helaire, and he's running a little better and a little different than in the past. You know what I mean? And so, I mean, I don't know. He's running with like something to prove, and I'm not mad at him getting in there and getting his 5 or 6 touches a game.
So again, I was asleep. I went to sleep after the early game. So when I woke up, the Chiefs were down 14-0. And then I saw like the first drive that scored a touchdown. Somebody went like a tweet of them crying. It was a crying meme of Clyde Edwards-Helaire was the spark on that drive. And I was like, really? Like that really happened? So it would be poetic justice for him on his way out the door, because the Chiefs are not going to keep him.
No.
For him to actually start playing like the first round pick, they actually invested in him on his way out the door. Dang, I lost my train of thought. No, I was going to say about this. Oh, actually, let me bring this note up. My uncle says this about Justin Fields. Fields has no O-line or receivers. The O-line could be better, but DJ Moore is a really good wide receiver.
And Mooney's not a terrible too.
Komet's is a good quality tight end. They have developing weapons in that system. You just got to have the quarterback to give them the ball. All right, so let's keep it moving. You mentioned this before we get to Eagles Niners, because I think that's the game of the weekend. MVP award. You mentioned this about it being. Can the NFL just create a quarterback of the year award, and then we can have a true MVP discussion? Because to me, I saw Harrington Harrison. Sorry, is it Harrington? No, it's Harrington. It's Harrington. Not It rhymes, so it just kind of throws me off that it rhymes like that. He goes, it's a shame that we're forcing a QB to win the MVP this year. And I'm like, exactly. Because to me, the favorites for MVP should be Tyreek Hill, Christian McCaffrey, AJ Brown, If you want to get a defensive guy in there, you can go Myles Garrett. You can actually go DeRon Bland if you really want to. I mean, because 5 pick sixes in one season is kind of crazy, by the way. But if you're gonna go non-QB division, those 4 guys should be in the top 5 odds. And right now, the top 5 odds. Who am I missing?
Trent Williams. That man is valuable, bro.
Trent Williams is very valuable.
Man is valuable.
He's very valuable. But I look at the way that Jalen Hurts was trash for 3 quarters.
Oh, yeah. Then he threw 3 touchdown passes and 4 passes. And then all of a sudden,
in the fourth quarter,
3 for 11 for 44 yards or something like that until he got there. I said, yo, what? It's like, you do this in college, you're out the Heisman race. Sorry.
Patrick Mahomes is still up there. Tua's up there. I'm trying to think who are the other 2 quarterbacks. Now, I'll say this. Dak has been playing great. But to me, the MVP comes down to when we get to the end of the season, how well are you playing at the end of the season? And to me, it doesn't take into account the totality.
Yeah.
Where Tyreek, again,
3% of the season, Dak was like, you know what I mean? And it's like, how do we just cancel that?
Yeah. And so I'm just like, you can't have an award where I get it. Quarterback's the most important position on the field. You're not going to get any argument from me there. But when the quarterback's play has been subpar, even from the quarterbacks we expect to be good, and you have these other people, Tyreek Hill might go for 2,000 yards in a season, which is insane. He needs to average 112 yards for his final 6 games to meet that mark. You had A.J. Brown with 6 games in a row of 125 yards a game. Christian McCaffrey is probably going to go for 1,800 to almost 2,000 all-purpose yards and maybe
16 to 20 touchdowns. What?
Dog. Myles Garrett is out here playing basketball. He's going, hezzy, twing, fillet. Like he's doing all of this before the snap of the ball in second quarter. It's crazy to me that you do not have any of these non-QBs in the MVP race because we're just so.
But I do think they got 2. I'm not my bad. I do think they got Tyreek Hill. I think if you were to legitimately ask, and they did a top 5, that they would have Tyreek Hill up there.
No, I got to see if I can find it. It was on The Athletic. They had the MVP odds. The top 5 were quarterbacks. I think the 6th one was Christian McCaffrey. It's either Christian or Tyreek. But it's just like, I don't know what a non-quarterback player would have to do to get the award. I mean, it's just, I don't understand it. It really makes me mad. It makes me sad because we talk about football being a team sport, but yet we elevate one position so high above all the rest that we make it seem at times as if none of the other positions matter.
You're right, though, because I mean, I'm looking at it now, updated today, and actually, it's even worse than that. Christian McCaffrey is 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8.
That's crazy to me.
Yeah.
That's crazy to me.
And guess what? He's behind Brock Purdy. Brock Purdy is 7.
Brock Purdy's my guy, man. Like he's a competent quarterback. I'm still trying to figure out if he's a franchise quarterback, but he's a really good quarterback.
But see, this whole odds thing, it can't be real, man.
Dog, Vegas knows. If nobody else
is like 20th. He's ahead of Micah Parsons. He's like a plus 15,000, and Micah Parsons is a plus like 16,000.
I mean, again, Vegas knows. And if let's just say they keep Josh Dobbs as a starter,
and he gets them to the playoffs or something,
and they win the North.
Yeah,
I would bet at the end of the season he would probably be 5 or 6 in MVP odds.
That's wild. CJ Stroud is actually really an MVP. Like, I mean, if we want to talk about valuable, like last year that team won how many games? Like
3.
And like, yeah. So CJ Stroud is low key that one of those guys. So
facts.
But I digress. Right. What's next?
Let's jump into game of the week. Yes. Eagles Niners this weekend, big game. I'm excited to watch the game as a Niners fan because I do now. I'm not like the Niners who spent half the offseason crying about they should have won the game. Mm-hmm. But I do think that they had if Purdy does not get hurt, people forget because the final score was so lopsided and because they didn't have a quarterback for basically, I mean, listen, all due respect, Josh Johnson, he was the 4th string quarterback. There's a limit, right, to how deep you can go into your quarterback room before it becomes detrimental. And the fact that they were able to get to QB3 and be in the NFC title game is unbelievable. But I do think if Purdy stays healthy that game, that they win. That game was close. Eagles scored a touchdown about maybe 3 minutes left before halftime to go up 14-7. Josh Johnson fumbles. Instead of just falling on the ball, he tries to pick it up. He can't get it. They score again. And at that point, the game was over. Yeah. Josh Johnson gets a concussion the first possession of the second half. And then they have to bring back Purdy in the game who couldn't throw the ball 3 feet. So I'm picking the Eagles to win the game, though. And it's not because
I'm doing the me thing.
No. It's not because I'm trying to do the pessimist thing. I think that, look, Howie Roseman has basically, I did the research on this. He has the most SEC talent on his team. I think it's 20. At least at the time I did the research. He had 20 SEC players on his team, led by, obviously, Jalen Hurts. But on the defensive side of the ball, he's got 2 monstars in Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis. Dog, when Jordan Davis got hurt on Sunday and he got up. So
yeah, I know you saw the sideline behind him. The players on the other team are behind him looking at him like, this dude is not, he's like built in a factory somewhere.
Listen, at Max Out, I saw Gerald McCoy. I never went up to like speak to him or anything like that. But I just looking at him walk around the room, and I'm like, that man like was a premier athlete. And 6'5", 6'6", probably 280, 300 something pounds, and could probably outrun all of us.
Yeah.
And all of our athletic primes, not just his. Yeah, he could probably outrun all of us. And Jalen Carter and Jordan Davis are like 2.0. Like they said, we want like Ndamukong Suh and Gerald McCoy, and we're just going to we're going to take their genes, and this is what we made. And it's just like
speed.
Dog, he was running step for step with Josh Allen. Like, dog, like unfreaking believable. So I think that their defensive line is the Niners interior is their weak point on that line. I think they're going to make life difficult for their run game and for their pass game. So again,
not me, man, not me. The luck stops here. The last 4 weeks, the Philadelphia Eagles have, found a way to win, which great teams, championship teams, find a way to win. We know that. So I don't want to call it all luck or whatever. This is the first time I think I heard earlier today ever, or in a lot of years, that a team with one loss after like week 9 has gone into a game with their primary quarterback and been an underdog. And the Eagles are the 3.5, I think, 3.5 point underdog.
They bet it up. It was 1.5, so they bet it up to 3.
I think it's 3 now.
Wow.
Let me see. But I just think I don't like if I'm looking at. I know the Eagles are winning, but if I'm looking at how teams are playing, to me the 49ers are playing better than the Philadelphia Eagles. And I just think with what they've been able to do, I don't think they've needed a team to make mistakes, self-inflicted wounds to win games, the Eagles, right? I'm not talking about crazy plays on defense or whatever. I'm talking about drop balls. I'm talking about, interceptions thrown by Josh Allen, just different things like just boneheaded stuff to win games. And I don't think the 49ers are going to make those plays. And I just think that they're the better team right now. They're playing better. And I still think that the Eagles are probably going to end up with the 1 seed in the NFC because they've gotten through the first 3 games of this gauntlet. And for some reason, they kind of got the Cowboys' number. And I don't know if they're going to turn around and beat the Cowboys. But they're favored in 4 of their last 6 matches, with the Cowboys and the Niners being the 2 games that they're not favored in. So it's a big game right here. Like this is for the Niners, this is like, you have to win this game if you think you're going to get the 1 seed, right? Because all the Eagles got left is the Cowboys and some bums.
Yeah.
So the Niners are going into this like, this is huge playoff implications on this game right here. and I just think the Niners come out and win the game.
Man, listen, like I want
Gosh.
so I can't stand. What are you looking at?
Kentucky's up 30 on Miami now.
Oh wow,
Miami's
yikes,
8th in the nation. Kentucky's 12th. It was
yikes.
close, like like it was like 36-32 or something like that. I was like, okay, now just look over. It's like 75-47.
Yikes.
Mhm.
Listen, man, when his name is Elliott, Jake Elliott, when he made that field goal,
59-60 something.
I said they're winning the game. They're winning like that. Like I literally had the Breaking Bad meme. He can't keep getting away with it. Like, dog, like I don't have a problem. So I was on with Titus. Shout out from Titus from LTBR and Not the Experts. I did a podcast with him last night. He's an Eagles fan. And so I said, look, man, like Nick Sirianni is the Eli Apple of head coaches. Like he's a troll, like he's annoying. And I'm like, they better win the title because if they don't win the title, the slander is going to be epic because of how crazy, how he acted after walking out of Arrowhead.
Oh, that was terrible.
I want the Niners to win to shut him up, if only for 1 week. If only for 1 week. To me, all the pressure's on the Niners. They have to win this game, like you said, because of home field, if they want to have a shot at it. And also because I think mentally they need to know if they see this team again, that they can beat them. I think that does matter, knowing that we can beat this team if we're both at full strength, whatever full strength looks like.
They were talking about that on Speak the other day. Shady and Manuel Acho were talking about, they were talking about how like the Eagles look at the Cowboys. You know, they're like, yo, we don't care that you up here winning by 30 points against the Commanders and stuff like that. When we look at you like, oh them, oh yeah, we whoop y'all ass every. You know, like, that's just what it is. You know, like, and I think that the 49ers like they do need that confirmation that like, yo, like. They believe we would have won last year. We would have. Let's go show. You know, like it's a mental, it's a psyche. Like if they go in there and get whooped by the Eagles, and they,
man. So I mean, I do think they can win. And I listen, even though I'm picking the Eagles to win the game, just because I think that one matchup, I think they'll win. I think it's going to be a competitive game. It'll be a good game. I hope the Niners beat the brakes off of them, though. Like I feel like the Eagles need at least one of those this year, and it hasn't happened yet. Like you said, they made it through that.
That Jets thing was a fluke.
I mean, I would too. Have you seen the Jets? I would too. So, I mean, I feel like they need one of those good old-fashioned, but maybe it's going to be the Cowboys. Maybe the Cowboys get them at the end of that gauntlet, and they have to go to Dallas. Dallas did beat them last year, and I feel like they beat them without Dak. I don't think Dak played in that game. So, I mean, Dak has been playing at MVP level. He played great in that first game. Right, just a couple of things here and there didn't go their way, but man. So this is one of the final like big games of the season.
Yeah, that's what I was gonna say. I think this is one of the final. You know, because the Chiefs really don't. I mean, we got the Bills, right? But I mean, and we got the Bengals and the Bills, but neither one of those Bengals with no Burrow.
I mean, look,
you're gonna have the Eagles Cowboys. Eagles Cowboys is gonna be a big game. And then you're gonna have the Detroit Lions. Do they play anybody?
Not of consequence.
Okay.
I mean, they still.
You're gonna have the Niners Seahawks one more time, right?
Yeah, man. Forget the Seahawks. They're gonna beat the crap out of them again, like they did the first time. Listen, I hate very few teams or people in sports, but they're at the top of the Koofy list, man. I can't stand Seattle. I have nothing nice to say. I don't normally talk crazy either, at least not publicly. I normally don't talk crazy about teams, but Seattle's one of those teams where like I don't have no problem saying y'all suck. You guys are trash.
I ain't mad at it.
Yeah, so let me look at the Lions schedule. I mean, no, they got Saints, Bears, Vikings. They play the Cowboys. That's gonna be a big one.
Lions, Cowboys, that's gonna be a real nice one.
That's gonna be a big one. So that's December 30th. But I need the Cowboys. I need the Niners to at least beat them to put some pressure on the Eagles to have to remain perfect. That makes that game against Dallas that following week have even greater stakes. Even though I don't think Dallas can't, even if they beat them, I think the Eagles will still hold the tiebreaker because they have the better conference record.
Yeah.
I think their divisional record will be the same at that point. So, but yeah, I need the Niners to win just to put some pressure on the Eagles to have to go perfect the rest of the way, because that's what the Niners, if they want home field, that's what they are going to have to do. They cannot lose anymore. They got to win out. So, y'all let us know what y'all think, man. Who y'all got? Eagles, Niners this weekend. Man, that's our show, man. We appreciate y'all rocking with us. We'll see if we'll be back next week. I'm not making any promises. You know,
we probably, man, if we can. Now the selection shows right after the conference championships, right? I mean, it's basically what is it? Tuesday?
No, it's Sunday.
It's
no,
Sunday.
I think it's normally Sunday. It's the day after the conference championship game. So I mean, it would have to probably be like a night show, right? Because I'm pretty sure we're watching football, and it would have to be either that or we could jump on like Instagram, and I have to figure out how to record it.
Okay, yeah, we'll figure that out. So, all right, man.
All right, so until next time, it's been a black
and white
thing, man. We'll holler at y'all next week. Remember, you can check us out by following us on all social media by searching at Brains and Bars, Instagram, Facebook, and Twitter. Same for the YouTube and podcast app of your choice. Search at Brains and Bars. You can follow the show. Please rate, subscribe, like, hit the notification bells, and we'll holler at y'all maybe next week, maybe after this college football playoff and everything shakes out, and see who we got playing for the national championship. Y'all be easy.
Tune in live from the Gator Bowl.
Hey, listen. I've seen that he's either going to be LSU or Tennessee.
Let's go. We'll figure it out, man. All right.
We'll figure it out. All right, man. Yep.